Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Senator Tom Cotton represents the great state of Arkansas. He joins us now. Welcome, Senator Cotton. How are you?
I'm good, Hugh. It's good to be back on with you. Thank you.
Thank you. I just had Senator Scott Brown on. He's running in New Hampshire. I know that you do not have the NRSC on your plate this cycle, but we really only have three races that we can win from the Democrats: Michigan, Georgia, and New Hampshire. Do you think the environment's going to be good for those three?
Hugh, yeah, I think the environment is going to be good for Republicans running across the country this fall in places like Virginia and New Jersey, and next year in all the midterm elections, because conditions are going to be good for Americans. You already see the economy improving substantially over where it was for 4 years under Joe Biden. Inflation is largely under control now. You got rising wages, especially for working class Americans. We've had huge success at the border, shutting down the Biden border invasion. And we're also finally, once again, respecting the world. So I think elections are going to be decided on those matters, in addition to the candidates that end up running that the parties nominate. But I think conditions are going to be very strong for the Republican Party next fall.
So do I. But I made the argument to the audience when Senator Brown was on. If we somehow lost the Senate, I don't believe whoever runs the Senate, Democrats, would approve one judicial nominee. Do you? Do you think they'll just do a blockade?
Oh, yeah, no question, Hugh. Not of any consequence. Maybe it's possible that they convince Donald Trump to appoint some far left-wingers in blue states in return for left-wingers in red states. But no, if we were to lose the Senate, which I don't for a minute believe will happen, that would be an end to President Trump's judicial nominations. And frankly, given the behavior over the last 6 months, which has been one long temper tantrum, probably an end to nominations for his administration as well.
Yeah. Now, you have been, I think this is your cycle, but you're pretty formidable in Arkansas, but people still need to get out and help you and go to what's your web? Oh, are you in the Congress right now? Can you tell me what your website is?
I'm not. I can tell everyone that my website is tomcotton.com. If they want to learn more about our campaign or what I've been doing for the people of Arkansas, they can go there. They can also find links there to follow us on social media and, of course, to contribute to my campaign.
Senator Lankford was on last week, and he has a new book out, Turnaround. And I found out he can't talk about the book when he's in the building too much. You're allowed to mention it, but you're not allowed to promote it when you're on the air, which is another new rule of Congress I never knew about. So this is a good cycle. What does the 2028 map look like, Senator? Is it going to be good or bad for Republicans?
I think good, Hugh. If you recall, that's the class that was up in 2022, and that was a bit disappointing for us. We lost one seat on net, but we have a lot of opportunities to win seats in that cycle in places like Georgia, again, for instance, or in Pennsylvania. Up in the upper Midwest, there's several states available as well. So we want to hold what we got, maybe even expand the majority this year, and then hopefully grow it even more in 2028. These things take time, the Senate. It's not like the House that can swing one election to the next, but we should have a strong, durable governing majority in the Senate if you just look at the states, for instance, that have consistently voted Republican in the presidential elections for the last several cycles.
Well, that is what I believe to be the case, is that the country is sorting. It's sorting into red and blue. I think Michigan is going red. I think North Carolina is going red. New Hampshire has got every state office by a Republican and no Republican in the United States Senate. If the sorting finishes over the course of the next 12 years, shouldn't we have more than 60 senators?
Well, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't want to say we're going to have a filibuster-proof majority, but we should have more than we have had. It is a disappointing fact of history that since senators have been popularly elected, we have never had more than 55 Republican senators. There's been many years, many decades in which Democrats had more than that. But again, if you look at the states that have consistently voted Republican in presidential elections in, say, the last 20 years, or you look at the trend of some of those states, we should have several more senators than we currently have. That's why it's so important that in any given cycle, we not leave a single state on the board, because, again, Senate majorities are built over a 3-election period, and you don't want to leave something on the board in 2026, even if you keep the majority, only to then lose it in 2028.
I'll ask questions, Senator. I normally ask you about intel matters and national security matters, armed services, intel committees being your committee. But you're also the chair of the conference, which means you help the senators develop the messaging that they use and what subjects they ought to emphasize and talk about. What are you advising the people who are up for re-election, like yourself, TomCotton.com, or like Scott Brown, or like anybody who's running? What ought they to be focused on?
Well, again, I think nothing succeeds like success, and President Trump's had a remarkable 6-month run in office, and we've passed highly consequential historic legislation that prevented the largest tax hike in American history, that helped secure our border, that's going to help reduce the number of criminal illegal aliens in our country, that's going to rebuild our military, that updated the farm bill for everyone in farm country. Running on those successes, I think, is how we're going to win next year, and reminding the voters what the Democrats stand for, what they voted against when they voted against all those bills, or where their party's energy is right now. If you look at the crowds that Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are generating as they travel around the country, rallying the far left progressives that now are in the driver's seat of the Democratic Party. And if you want people like the Democratic nominee for mayor of New York City to be in charge in Washington, then Democrats are your party. But if you want common sense conservative governance, you should give Republicans another chance.
Let me add one question about Comrade Mandani. I asked Olivia Beavers earlier today if she was asking every member of Congress what they thought of Comrade Mandani, and she kind of sidestepped the question. Have you seen any of the reporters asking everybody, because that's what they do to Republicans whenever we get an outlier for a nominee? Have you seen them ask anyone about Comrade Mandani?
No, of course not, because almost all those reporters are liberal Democrats who are on the team, and they don't want to ask senators and congressmen from states like North Carolina or Georgia or Nevada what they think about the new superstar of the Democratic Party, in contrast to what they do whenever an idiosyncratic Republican happens to win a primary in a city or in a congressional district around the country.
Tom Cotton, thank you, Senator, for joining me. I know you're off on summer stuff. I appreciate your taking the time. Be well. Follow him on X at Send